I was drawn into her like a middle-aged man. Like, I was just totally enamored with her.
Yeah, you're like, I wonder what she does. She's so good at dancing.
Right?
I saw her take off her
looks
Eminem
fine.
costume like a pro. Like, she took it off. She
Yeah.
started swinging around the pole on the bar flawlessly. She was asking people to put dollar bills in her panties. It was just so seamless. What up? What up? Welcome back to Breaking Takes. I hope you all had a
Happy Halloween.
happy heathenist Halloween.
That's right. It is officially November.
Officially November. It's almost that time where the country is going to go crazy.
Oh my God.
In 2024. But, you know, it still hasn't happened yet. And speaking of going crazy, I hear that you had a club experience on Halloween. You went back in time to the club to visit a younger version of yourself.
Yes. So that is true because, so as we know, I moved back home to Baltimore, at least for the time being. And, you know, I used to go to clubs before I left Baltimore. So this was my first time back at said club since I moved back. So I am like 4 years older now.
Yeah.
And well, 4 or 5 actually. Well, I guess no, probably 4 years older, but
And 4 years goes by quick when you're older.
Does.
Like, I feel like the ages of 14 to 18 took forever, but
Yes.
like 24 to 28 is like you wake up and you're 28 one day. It's
yeah.
like, what the fuck
Especially
happened?
with COVID in that mix, like I don't know what happened. So, you know, as we discussed off air, I'm old, so I did not go out really on Halloween night. I was back at home by 8 o'clock because it was a Thursday, but I partied. I wanted to celebrate the weekend before Halloween. So my hairstylist here in Baltimore is also a drag queen. And they do like performances. They've been doing them. They're very talented. So I saw that they had one the Friday before Halloween. I said, don't mind if I do. I bought 2 tickets.
This is a drag performance in the club.
Well, so I learned a lot. So years ago so Brian is my hairstylist. Baby is the queen. So Brian becomes Baby.
Brian becomes Baby. Okay.
Yes.
So
and Baby's fine as hell. Brian's a handsome man. Baby's sexy as fuck.
So it's like the Batman to Bruce Wayne transition.
Yes.
He's like Brian during the day, hairstylist, and
Yes.
then he throws on the costume at night, and he's he's just
A
fighting.
whole woman, a whole lady.
Yeah, he's just a lady getting after it, just a drag superhero.
So years ago, though, Brian is also 28. So Brian at that time was just like, I guess, you know, in the beginning of his career, you have to do more work, right? You have to really perform for like all this time, have a whole set list. So I thought it was going to be like that. I took my best friend with me. On the invite, it says doors open at 10. And so my brain is like, okay, the show will probably start at 11, right?
That's fair.
Yeah.
11's fair.
Yeah, so we got there at 10:30. Immediately, I was like, I'm fucking old because there was like nobody there yet. Because gays don't come out that early.
Till like 3.
Yeah. So me and my friend are just like staring at each other like, okay, this is our first learning lesson. It's too early. So we go straight to the bar because obviously we're like, we just need to start drinking.
Yeah. I just want to say I know exactly what that energy is because I did a similar thing on Saturday night. We went to a club in Brooklyn called Elsewhere.
Okay.
And the doors opened there at 10. We got there at 10:30.
Yeah.
And then we went into a mode where we were looking around just you start saying things to your friends like, oh, I'm sure people are going to show up. Like, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
You start going into, like, convincing mode. Like, yeah, no, this is going to be lit. Like,
because you're looking around and nobody, like, it's all strange creatures that are there at that time. There were, like, a couple guys, like, dancing by themselves really poorly. Like, imagine a sim dancing, that's what they were dancing like.
Yeah.
And like a couple girls that were doing some weird, it was just a weird
Yeah,
crowd.
you get it, and especially in the beginning when no one's there, you get in an overly encouraging mode with your friends where you're just like, yeah, no, it's gonna be fine, and you start dancing in the middle of an empty dance floor, and you're like, yo, like imagine
Don't
how
worry.
this is gonna look in like 18 minutes, dude. Like this is gonna be sick.
Yeah. Yeah. So, of course, I'm also newly single, and my best friend, he's single as well. We're both queer, so this was a pretty queer scene. So we
Yeah.
were ready to kind of like go out and be each other's wingmen, and so we were very surprised when we showed up, and there were like 10 people there,
Yeah.
and none of them were cute. So we're at the bar, and some time passed. Now it's probably like 11,
Yeah.
and the first beautiful woman comes into the venue. And I immediately just look across the bar. I'm like, finally, like things are looking up for me.
Yeah, it was like a tunnel vision moment where everyone else is in darkness, and then she's just floating in with golden pixie dust, just walking through the middle of the crowd.
Yes, she walked up to the bar herself. She was gorgeous. Everybody was in costume. Like once she arrived, all I know is by the time I left, it was packed. So definitely more people began to arrive around 11, 12. I think we ended up getting home at like 1:30 or something, and it was still bumping in there. But yeah, so I see this girl, and I'm like, that's the first beautiful woman that I've seen in here. And now I'm like just drawn to her like the light.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's it. That's all there is. Like, I got to talk to this lady. I got to get to know this lady.
I know that feeling. It's that was me when I would talk to all my friends, and I would say, dude, these girls are trash. As soon as the first hot girl walks in,
It's mine.
I'm going right
gotta
up there.
pounce.
And then she walks in, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna circle a little bit. Let's do a couple laps.
Yes.
She's not leaving anytime soon. I don't need to go up, scare her off right away.
Exactly. So also, mind you, this bar, it's like a grungy scene. So it's not the type of place I'm ordering like a fucking strawberry daiquiri. You're ordering drinks. You're either drinking beer or you're ordering like a vodka soda, like something you can say the ingredients to. And that's it. Like, and I recently discovered that rum is my preferred liquor. I don't taste rum. I don't get hungover from rum. I love rum.
Rum tastes you.
Yes, rum tastes me.
Yeah.
That's right. So I'm slurping my rum and Coke, but I'm slurping it down because like the first one, you're not. I'm sober, Sally. I'm so sober. I can't possibly talk to this girl.
The first
I
mixed
don't know
drink-
what I'm doing.
The first mixed drink when you're single is like a shooter. You're just like literally this
Yes,
straw, like it
really was.
It drops so fast against the ice. You're just like, you're ordering your second one as like the liquid's hitting the bottom of the cup. Yeah.
Yes. And
Seriously,
also I was a vampire. So I was dressed up as a vampire and I had fangs. So I couldn't, that was another reason why I was drinking cocktails, was because I couldn't drink a beer out of the can. I needed to have something with a straw. So I could like put it in my mouth like a normal person. So that also led to me getting pretty drunk. So I'm nervous. We know I'm newly single. It's been like 5 years since I've been single. So I kind of forgot how to even talk to anybody. I'm just like looking at her like she's so beautiful, but what do I say? What do I do? How do I get over there? So I'm kind of like, this is not a big venue either. So you can, wherever she goes, I can see her in the venue. So I'm like just keeping tabs. Finally, I get to like at least 2 rum and Cokes down. And now I'm starting to feel
and that's
a little bit more
into.
Yes, it's now 11:05.
One every 2 minutes. Yeah.
So I finally start catching a little buzz. She's dressed up as the green M&M. So I go up to her and I'm like, "Where are all your other M&M friends?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, they got eaten up." Which I
Mm.
could have said something crazy then, but I chose not to
Yeah.
because
You looking
I
for
was
anyone to
shy.
eat? You looking for anyone to eat
Yeah.
you up tonight?
That's what came across my
Yeah.
mind, but I was like, let me keep it more
Yeah. Yeah. You're
respectful.
just like you're lucky I can't eat you up because I'm a vampire, but I could suck something else if you want.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah.
happens.
So she also, I was attracted to her because she came in by herself, was gorgeous, and also was dancing like on her own. And so I was just attracted to her energy. Like she doesn't need anybody. Eventually some friends did join her, but I was kind of
Yeah.
instantly drawn to that.
It's also a
So then
very vampire thing to say that I was attracted to
she's
her
a
energy. I wanted to.
yes.
Her energy pulled me in, so I knew
Her
the
scent
night was
of
not going to end well
blood.
for her. Yeah, yeah. Her veins were throbbing in the light of the
Yeah.
disco ball.
Yes. Yeah, no. So I finally, now it's probably been some time, like I'm talking to her and typical American question. It's like, "Oh, like what do you do?" Like I was like, "Do you come here often? What do you do?" All the basic stuff. And guess what her profession was? What she told me her profession was.
I'm gonna guess. You said she was a green M&M.
Yes.
She was a green M&M. I'm going to guess something in the music industry, just because the only thing that comes to mind when I think of green M&Ms is some story of Mick Jagger asking people to pick green M&Ms out of the bowl on their rider because that's what you can do when you're a rock star. So she's a manager in the music industry that's sick of it, and she's sick of these overly just overbearing riders of music artists, and so she's wearing the green M&M costume as a protest. I'm right.
Okay. I
I'm
mean,
right.
you are not
I nailed it.
too
I nailed
wrong.
it.
I mean, so first "Oh, I'm kind of like a bottle girl, like you know what I'm talking about, a bottle girl." But then
Yeah.
she goes, "And I'm also a stripper." And I go, and I'm like, so Baltimore it's called
So
the Block.
you're a stripper. I'm a bottle girl and also a stripper. So
Yeah,
you're a
so
stripper.
you're a stripper.
Yeah. You're a
Which I
stripper
was
that
like,
serves people bottles when they're not stripping.
yeah, she's so in Baltimore there is a place called the Block, and it's called the Block because it is a block's worth of strip clubs.
Mm.
Like just up and down that block is a bunch of strip clubs, and I have been to them before. The best ones, like, which aren't that great because it's Baltimore. I didn't ask which ones she worked at because like I was so taken aback that the first woman I start flirting with post breakup is a stripper.
Yeah. Oh
like,
yeah.
like what are the chances? But then it made sense because I was like, she's gorgeous, and she's dancing by herself, and she's like a good dancer. I was
Yeah.
drawn into her like a middle-aged man. Like
Yeah.
I was just totally enamored with her.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, I wonder what she does. She's so good at dancing.
Right?
I saw her take off
looks
her M&M
fine.
costume like a pro. Like she took it off. She
Yeah.
started swinging around the pole on the bar flawlessly. She was asking people to put dollar bills in her panties, and she like pulled like it was
Yes.
just so seamless.
Yes. So I'll be honest with you, I didn't feel like we had that much chemistry. And once I found out she was a stripper, it's not that but I don't care if you're a stripper. It's just that I've been to the Block and I do know those strip clubs. And I just felt like immediately kind of inferior. Like you're just seeing so many dudes and people all the time. Like, I don't think this is going to work. Also, in Baltimore on the Block, you show full vag,
Mm.
which
Okay.
is not, it doesn't happen everywhere. So in the county, you have to wear you have to cover up your genitalia.
Yeah, you have like
just a little, just a 1-inch piece of fabric.
Yeah,
over
not
it.
even. It's literally like a centimeter, and then they do the little nipple pasties because technically they're not nude.
That covers them
so
up.
It's always I've been in those clubs where like technically they can't get nude, so like they cover the nipples and they just have like a string of yarn across their pussy. But she's full nudes.
So when I first went to these strip clubs, I was so surprised to see full vagina like right in my face.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think, in all the movies, they've got like a cute little outfit on and stuff. I didn't, I felt like they should have given me a waiver to sign before I walked in there. Because I'll be honest, I don't want to see vagina from anybody unless it's a person I want to see that. This woman was beautiful. I probably would not have complained had I seen it.
Yeah.
But yes, so that was kind of my experience.
I will say it is when a woman is standing completely nude and you could see the top of the vagina area and maybe like a little open
body.
Yeah, so even if it's a hot woman, like open vag is jarring when you see it initially, even if the woman is hot and you're totally attracted to her. Like it takes a second for you to register. Like, I'm seeing open pussy in public right now. This is insane. And I'm
fully clothed, like just crazy. Sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
With $31 bills in my hand.
Yeah.
And your womb is present in the room with us. And that is scary.
And now with the stripper reveal, her outfit as the green M&M makes perfect sense, because when a girl is wearing a loose costume like an M&M with a bunch of space where you can't really clearly see the curvature of her body.
Yes, I could not really see her body.
Or you're wearing like some like baggy construction worker outfit as you're either a 2 because you're trying to hide your body, or you're so incredibly hot
bona fide hottie.
You're just sick of getting hit on, so you're trying to hide it a little bit. And the fact that she walked in with an M&M costume and you were still like, oh my God, this girl is a fucking 10. Her face must have also been incredible, because you can't really judge
her face
the
was
M&M.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous face. Her makeup was done beautifully. Gorgeous long hair. I liked the heels she was wearing. She was wearing like kind of like white. I mean, because she was an M&M, so she was wearing the white like go-go boot heels. So I was really drawn to that. I did get her Instagram, so shout out Diet Soda Shorty on Instagram, and shout out
fell in love with the Diet Soda Shorty,
all the strippers on the block.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I'll go down and see her sometime.
You should, especially if the reason that you felt the connection wasn't fully there was because of some skewed sense of perceived inferiority. You need to sack up. You need to go down to the block.
I know, Zach. I gotta.
You gotta go down to the block. You can sample the goods. That's the good thing about connecting with a stripper, is that you could literally just sample the goods. You could get a private dance. You could see, what are we working with here? See it up close. Do some examinations. And you need to embrace your early, well, I guess it would be like late 90s, early 2000s phase. R&B phase of falling in love with a stripper, because that's what every R&B song in the late 90s.
It was about to be me. Can you imagine?
You can fall in love with a stripper.
Can you imagine though? It's like my ex was not. I never want to compare any ladies to each other, but I just dated a neuroscientist for 5 years.
Yeah, well,
and then the very next person I start dating is a stripper.
A lot of people would argue, including myself, that stripping is a science of its own. It's very particular.
It is a quality profession. Like I bet she makes a ton of money. Like, all respect, seriously.
The complex mechanism of putting on, and I'm talking about quality strippers here, and I haven't seen this girl perform.
You haven't
so
seen
I
Diet
can't
Soda
speak.
Shorty?
I haven't seen Diet Soda Shorty in the club, so I can't speak to her performance. But I will say that beautiful strippers that can also perform, this sounds like me saying like, oh, I don't get Playboy for the nudes. I do it for the articles. Like, there's a lot of good stuff in there. Like, stripper, there is an art
to read.
There is an art to good stripping. There have been times back in the day when I would be in the strip club, and I'm with a bunch of friends and you know, you're in that sort of like camaraderie mode of like, yeah, we're in the strip club, like we're throwing dollar bills, like the night is limitless, like fucking bottles, and then we're broke in 2 seconds. But there is like this pausing in time that a beautiful woman can do with immaculate moves on a pole, where like like you almost forget that you're attracted to her because the art in that moment is outweighing.
They're so strong.
The attractiveness.
Like, you're so fit to be like, you're upside down on that thing. You're dropping it like it's hot. Like, how are you doing that?
Exactly. The core strength, the movement, the style. You can totally lose the fact that you're just like a dogged, horny guy in a strip club, and you're transported to the Sistine Chapel. You're like, oh my, this is incredible. And I would argue that behind all great art, there is some science. You got to know the curvature of nature. You got to be able to move with physics. There's a lot of complex mechanisms going on there. So, you know, maybe she has a PhD in the pole. You never know.
I think she does.
You got to ask her. You got to connect.
I know. Well, so my thing is like, yeah, I've been to some of those strip clubs and I got eaten alive and it scared me. So I actually really don't like to be like touched or anything like by a stranger with their vag out. Like, I don't really want to be touched. I don't know. Like, I thought I was the viewer. I thought that I have to pay to touch. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they must have been so happy to see me instead of a horny 60-year-old man that they flocked to me like birds. Like, and they were all over me. And I got groped. I got my titties groped at the strip club. And I was
And you weren't getting paid for that. Yeah.
I wasn't. Where's my dollar bill?
You should have picked up some bills off the stage. Like, I just got my titties touched twice. That's $20 right there. I deserve.
Yeah, 10 for each titty.
Yeah, 10 per titty. 10 per. That's also that's a good license plate idea. 10 per titty.
10 per titty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been there before, and I don't know. It was just a weird experience for me. I'm cool with strip clubs. I would go again for sure, but it's not something that I feel like I need to go to often. And it was just, I don't typically date strippers. So this was it was an interesting experience. So my first time back in the club, my first time trying to flirt, and yeah, I got a dancer on the line, on the fishing line.
You should be proud. You got her on the line. You're a fine piece of bait. You threw yourself out there.
Yes.
And you're picking up, people are biting, and you picked one up, and now you got to see where is this reel going? Is it just gonna hang on for a little bit? Is it gonna be all the way back on the boat? Or, is this gonna lead to, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna take this fish to dinner. I'm gonna
hell yeah,
do some freaky things with this fish. What's gonna happen? No one knows. And I do have one question for you, because as I'm imagining Sam in the strip club, you can tell a lot by a person by how they throw the money, how they throw the dollar bills. What is your technique? Do you throw one at a time up on stage, like you're kind of like doing a toss? Do you skim them like the classic strip club move where you have like 5 or 6 and you're just like going 1, 2, 3, 4? Do you wait for them to come around so you can put it in the thong when those ass cheeks come calling? What's your technique?
That is, I would say it's closer to the last option there. I don't really like to just throw them. I like to have a more personalized experience. So I wait until they make eye contact with me or get close to me. Okay. And then I'll give it to them personally so they know, like, that more of an appreciate it.
More of an intimate dollar bill connection.
Yes.
If a stripper makes eye contact with you and then presents the cheeks, you will slide right in.
I'm sliding it right in like a credit card.
That's good. You're more. I'll say I enjoy that too, but I can do both. I can play in both fields.
Sometimes it is fun just to make it rain.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to make it rain once or twice.
I'll make it rain, just like a cold,
all $10 that I have.
disconnected. Yeah, exactly. I'm really trying to draw out the rain. Like I'm doing one, I'm waiting 30 seconds and like one more. And it's like, wow, he could easily just
You're
throw
like
all of those.
trying to throw it way high in the air so it just slowly
Oh my God, look
comes
how
down.
long it's taking for my rain to come down. There must be so much rain. Oh my God. Yeah. It's strip club. Yeah, it's a good time. I'm glad you might not have fallen in love with the stripper, but you definitely got some looks.
I tried. You got to shoot your shot. And that's just kind of on the vibe I am right now. So
Hell yeah.
I think it was a successful night. I was rusty. It wasn't my best work, but I tried my best at the time.
That's part of the fun of being in a relationship for a while and then you're single. It's like you're a deer that's learning how to walk. You're just fucking you're stumbling
I'm like
around.
Bambi in there.
You're Bambi, but then
I'm scared.
in no time,
I want my mommy.
But and then like
I'm horrified.
Yeah, exactly. You're calling your mom. You're like, oh my God, I met a stripper, mom. What's going on? How do I do?
What do I do?
But then 2 months from now, you're gonna be a fucking gazelle. You're gonna be sprinting on the Serengeti of pussy, just taking bitches down, and maybe the stripper will be a small spot in the long story of Sam's singledom, or maybe it'll be a sticking point. Who knows? But there's only one way to find out, and you got to get back on that Serengeti and learn to walk again. You got to walk on the block.
Yeah,
and get those legs back. You got to get those single legs back, and you're on the path.
Yeah. Can I tell you I know we're like 30 minutes into the podcast, but I have to tell you also another funny story about the strip club. So my sister used to work at a strip club, and she was adamant she's not a stripper. She doesn't dance. She's clothed. She is a server.
Okay.
So, but I knew which club she had worked at. So me and my friend go to this club. She no longer works there. This was like years and years ago. But so I go to this strip club, and I'm of course, that's when I'm like, the dancers are naked as fuck. So that was I'm like, I hope my sister wasn't on that pole.
God, do you have to kill yourself if you see your sister's full vag? Like, you have to kill yourself that night.
I think so. But here's the thing. So I believe that she wasn't a dancer.
Yeah.
But the fucking servers were also barely wearing clothing. They were wearing some clothing. But this whole time, I'm imagining my sister, she's probably just maybe dressed like a Hooters girl or something. You know, it's fine. Then I get there. I'm like, they are way more naked than you had described to me. So then while I'm there, I'm just mortified, knowing that my sister worked there and she was just shaking that ass for the money. So I got a lot of history with the block in Baltimore, and I just maybe need a little separation.
Yeah, I mean, if for anyone, if they start a sentence with the words "technically I wasn't a stripper," they're not dressed like a nun. They're wearing they're akin to stripper. They might not be on the stage, but they're there to work that body.
But you don't know until you know. And I didn't know until I saw it for myself. And I saw too much. And I learned something that day about my sister that I didn't suspect before.
Yeah. I mean, you could start a podcast with your sis and call it the sister and the stripper. And I feel like that would take off.
Which one is it?
Stripper say, who's who?
Yeah.
The stripper sis.
But yeah, so that's been my life recently. So happy to recap that. Thanks for all the support. And once again, shout out to Diet Soda Shorty.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thank you for your time.
Fuck yeah. So, speaking of taking off clothes, as we all know, the leader of Russia, Vladimir Putin, he's been known to get shirtless on a horse and do a photo op by a river with mountain peaks
Yeah.
in the background. He,
totally not staged or anything.
not just casually. Just he said, you know what, I'm gonna take my shirt off and ride a stallion into the sunset tonight.
Yeah.
And there's just gonna happen to be Russian photographers there taking my photograph. So
exactly.
So Putin and Russia made the news recently for something that's not Russia-Ukraine related, which is rare. And it's election time, which means, Russia's got to fucking turn up the propaganda.
They're doing anything they can.
They're like the Joker in the news world, where they're like, we just want to watch everyone burn. We're gonna put out fake shit everywhere. And we're just gonna rile the people in democratic
just what
countries.
America needs right now.
Exactly. Right.
To be riled up, any more riled up than we already are.
Yeah. I'm looking around the United States, and I'm saying to myself, we could use more polarization, more controversy.
Yes,
that's exactly what we need. So Russia and Putin apparently court-ordered Google to pay $20 decillion for blocking media on YouTube, for blocking Russia media on YouTube. Russia took it upon themselves to fine Google $20 decillion for blocking Russian news.
Is that supposed to be in American? Is that an American
It's American
amount?
Dollars, yes. Russia is the
so
ruble.
When does decillion come after billion?
So that's exactly what I was thinking. And so I had to look this up. So decillion has 33
I never
zeros.
even heard that. 33 zeros.
33
I've never
zeros.
heard that in my life.
And if you're like, oh, decillion, that's a big number, but like a billion's big too. How much can decillion be? A billion has 9 zeros. So a decillion
my God.
is 9 plus 24 zeros added on
nice
to the billion. So a Russian court is demanding that Google pays 20 decillion American dollars after several of the country's TV channels and news media outlets were banned from YouTube, according to multiple reports. The fine, which is 20 with 33 zeros attached, is a 35-digit figure. 35 digits. You can't.
Totally easy.
You need to write on the back of the check.
To round up that money.
If we were to write a check to Russia, we would have to fill, like, it would be 00000, and then it'd have like an arrow continued on the check, and then on the back like 00000. Yeah, flip for full amount. The excessive number comes from a Moscow-controlled court that imposed it after 17 of the country's TV channels and media platforms were blocked from YouTube, which Google owns, a Russia news outlet RBC reported. So, people say that Putin is unreasonable. And, I don't see why people are saying that. This is a pretty, this is the amount that a reasonable person asks for. If there's a violation of the law, you go to the court in your country, which you control, and the court's probably like, well, what are we going to fine them? $1 billion, $1 trillion? And Putin's like, what's that number with 32 zeros on the end of it? What do we call that? Because we have to write it out in the articles. So we have to, and they had to pay someone to look up it's like a quintillion, then septillion, and they're like, all right, we found it. It's decillion. We can fine them $20 decillion. Like Putin's like, all right, let's do that. And so
that's the one.
I don't see why people are saying this guy's reasonable. He, if he was running for president in the United States, let's just see what happens. Throw him in there.
Yeah. What do you think? Would every American have to empty their bank account to be able to get the total number up to that?
So great question, Sam. And I actually looked this up. So the total number, the total amount of wealth that's estimated to exist on the entire planet, so not just America, but the planet, is somewhere between 80 and 100 trillion dollars.
Okay. So the amount of money the limit does not exist.
The limit does not
just
exist.
Watched Mean Girls that morning and was like, I want infinity. The limit does not exist.
Yeah.
They better start printing more money because I want it all.
I could just see Putin just watching Mean Girls sipping a pumpkin spice latte, and he's like, oh my God, that's it. And he just like calls the Supreme Court of Russia. He's like, the limit does not exist. Find them what you must. 20 decillion if we have to. But so the amount of money on the planet is 80 to $100 trillion, which is 9 zeros. So the trillion's 9 zeros. You're still 25 or 24 zeros away from the amount of money that the entire planet could pay if Russia issued a fine to the entire planet. If Putin was just like, we're fining everyone, fuck all of you.
We're all getting a letter in the mail.
Give us
from the Kremlin.
Yeah, from the Kremlin.
Please empty your bank account.
Everyone on the planet would have to pay
Cash
like
at
$19 billion.
At sexy Putin.
Yeah,
that's his Cash App.
Yeah, and if you don't, you can subscribe to my OnlyFans if you can't afford it. That's Putin 6969, and if he fined the entire planet all of its money, he would still be like 19 quintillion times 3 short, like an astronomical figure. Which is what I love about this sentence that Putin, and you got to respect him for this fact. It's like he's fining Google so much that in order for Google to pay this full amount, we have to find life on other planets and hope that they have money
and rob them.
And then rob them or get a loan. And they were like, why are you like, you just got here. Why are you robbing us? Like, this is so unprofessional.
We're in debt bad,
and you're like,
man.
yeah, this guy Putin back on Earth. Like, we still owe him like $17 quintillion. Sorry. Like the first thing you do when you meet an alien race is be like, oh, nice to meet you. And you put a gun to its head and be like, give me all your fucking
give me all your money.
Yeah. Like,
their money isn't even dollars. It's like goo.
Yeah, here you go. They just like shoot out some green ooze. We bring it back to Earth, and we're like, I think this is worth 24
This is so valuable.
quintillion. Yeah. So I respect that we have to just master space travel. Like that would be like, I guess, space theft auto. Like, we just have to go around the universe robbing different planets. Yeah.
I can't wait to just grab somebody by the throat and pull them out of their spaceship, out of their UFO.
Yeah, give me all your fucking money, bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's wild. In a way, I'm kind of inspired by it. Like, it gives us all a reason to hustle more because we have to pay back Vlad Daddy. Like, he's giving us a goal to reach, and right now it may seem unobtainable, but anything is possible.
Yeah, people they're inspired by these fake alpha males on YouTube. You know, they're like, they get on and they have like tattoos of the fucking beard, and they're like, yeah, if you're not making $1 million a year, like, go. I'm going to fuck your mother until you turn your life around and you start making as much. And he's just on a horse, shirtless in Russia. Like, you don't mean anything to me unless you have a septillion dollars. Unless you make septillion dollars a year, you are not a human being. So let's talk when you can afford that.
What do you think Vlad does with that money? Like, what is he doing with that? At a certain point, you get so much money that it doesn't even matter how much you have.
That's a great question. I feel like, so I saw that North Korea just sent over troops to Russia, which means that him and Kim Jong-un are kind of tight. So I feel like
they're homies.
They would go on some sort of bro dictator vacation. Like, I could see Putin and Kim Jong-un just going to Bali and like renting out the whole island. And just be like, I don't like, they're just like, yeah, this is a ridiculous, like, you can't rent out Bali. And Putin's like, yeah, how's a septillion dollar? How's this check for 14 septillion dollars? And they're just like, yeah, this is your island now. You can just take everything. And it's him and Kim Jong just sipping Mai Tais. Yeah, beer funneling, just taking photo ops, shirtless together.
They're making it rain. They're making it rain on some stripper's ass.
Because that's like what you like. If you people that win the lottery, I feel like the first thing you got to do is just, you know, blow a ton of money on some baller ass vacation. So that's what comes to mind first. And then after that, enslavement of humanity probably. But first you need vacation. Right? Baller, Bali, vacation. Maybe even like go
Get
to
that
Egypt.
R&R. Yeah.
I could see Putin buying the pyramids and moving them to Russia. Like Egypt is like, come here to see the pyramids, and Putin's like, oh, those are mine now. I
will take them.
You're in debt to me, technically. This whole entire planet owes me money they can't afford. So I'm gonna actually move the pyramids to Moscow.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty quick that he did do shit like that. It wouldn't take long at all. Yeah, all the bulldozers would just be making their way across the continent immediately.
I think he'd have some fun too, because he's Russian, so he's got that like bear riding, vodka chugging spirit in him. Where I think we would have a day, like he would make Saturday a national vodka holiday, where you just go out into the woods and you drink vodka and you wrestle a bear, and like that's your only duty as a Russian slave, is to, just get fucked up and pick an animal and go wrestle it. So I think that would be fun. It's good to not have to worry about capitalism for a little bit, where you're like, all right, I'm just gonna, get lit on some Svedka. And or is that Russian, or is Smirnoff the Russian one? I forget. I think Svedka sounds
Russian.
Yeah.
There's one of those. A lot of Russian vodka though, right?
There's
like
a ton.
What they do.
It's what
Russian
they do.
Russian vodka brands. There's a ton out there.
Yeah, I mean they're Russian sauna culture. Russian has they have a ton of saunas, so I feel like the whole world would get quickly filled with bathhouses and vodka and bears, and we'd all be slaves. We'd be enslaved to Putin, but I think he would have he seems like he'd be a dictator that likes to have fun. And if you have 20 $10,000,000, you could do whatever the fuck you want.
It's literally so funny that he did that he's requesting a non-existent amount of money. Like that's how petty he is. I love that he's definitely giving petty ex-girlfriend energy.
Petty level 1,000. And I love how when he was questioned by the media, which he owns, he he was asked, like, isn't this a lot? And Putin goes, no, this was decided by the Moscow court. This wasn't me. This
is like a real amount.
The courts that I control decided this. So I love how Putin had to go to the court and be like, find a number that is good for Google to pay us for censoring our disinformation. And the court goes back to Putin and they go 20 gajillion. And Putin's like,
as if the court doesn't work for Putin.
Yeah.
Putin's like, no, I had nothing to do with this. There's democracy here.
Yeah.
Because we all know that Russia's super democratic and there's a voting. Like, he totally was legitimately voted in for the last decade.
Yeah. Does Putin crack up when he passes ballot boxes in Russia? Does he like pull one out and just like wipe his ass with it and then put it back and be like, I look at all these people just wasting their time.
I think so. Because
that's what I would do. You got to wipe your ass a little bit with a ballot if you're a dictator. It's part of the fun.
Probably. Just don't get a paper cut.
Yeah.
That'd be terrible.
Paper cut right in the brown eye. So shit and blood, literally.
That's terrible.
But yeah, he had to get the court to be like, how's 20 gajillion? And Putin's like, nah, higher. And they're like, DECILLION? And he's like, okay, send it.
So does the CEO of Google like get that piece of mail on the desk in the morning? Like they're going to work, they're drinking their Starbucks, and they're just opening their mail, and they get a letter from the Kremlin.
I don't know. It didn't say exactly in the article how Google received the actual indictment or whatever you want to call it, the fine. I don't even think they issued an official response from it, because Russia has done this in the past where they'll just be like, we're fining Google $1,000 a day and doubling it until they put us, back on YouTube, and Google's just like, all right, whatever. But I do wonder, is it something like when you get sued and you have to have someone in person hand you the litigation?
Get served.
Yeah, get served. Like you have to have someone dressed up that's pretending to be a janitor, and they go, "Are you Sam Nash?" And you're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "You're being sued by Boeing or whatever for fucking, making." Releasing information about our shitty planes. Did Russia have to hire a secret agent in America to go find the CEO of Google and
I
just,
guess,
pretend to be a window washer in Google headquarters? And it's like, are you, what I don't even know who the CEO of Google is now.
Yeah,
It used
me
to be that guy,
neither.
Sergey, CEO
He
of
sold
Google.
it.
Is Sundar Pichai is the CEO of Google.
Okay, where are they located?
Google is, I guess they're in Silicon Valley, right? That's where all of those Google headquarters.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine the amount of money that guy has. Clearly
Yeah,
not enough,
Mountain
though.
Mountain View, California. So they had to have some Russian agent, Vladimir Jr., come to America, pretend to be a window washer in Google headquarters, and he's like, "Are you Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's like, "You've been served for $20 decillion by Putin. Peace out." And he just like parachutes out the fucking top of the skyscraper. Just double fingers up at him as he's going down, like, "Suck my Russian dick."
I too would like to serve him for $20 decillion.
Yeah, he's reading. He's like, "How many zeros is this?" Is like 30 zeros, and he's like, 33. He's on the way down.
Wow.
Fuck you. But yeah,
I love
that's
that.
I do wonder how it got served. So there's also the article goes on. It says the blocking of the channels occurred. This is the Russian news media channels that have been blocked on YouTube. This occurred after Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The fine is significantly more than Google's market value of 2.15 trillion, which we already covered. The entire planet only has like $100 trillion or something like that. But Google is named after the number Google, which has 100 zeros. There's a number spelled GOOGOL, like a
Wow.
Googleplex or whatever it's called.
Okay, we're learning new things today.
Learning new things, and that actually has 100 zeros.
Okay.
So I love how, there was probably some Russian analyst involved in this fine, and he goes to the judge and says, "Your Honor, Google only has $2.15 trillion. And the Russian judge is like, "Well, not according to their name. There's 100 zeros in their name, so they'll fucking pay the 20
They better make it
decillion.
happen.
They better make it fucking rain on Russia because we own the planet until they pay up."
Yeah.
So
Damn,
there's
Google.
Google's, we'll see what Google's next move is. This is just a random fact thrown into the article that I thought was interesting. So it says Google's name was inspired by the word Google, Googol, which is 100 zeros, a number with 100 zeros after it, in 1997, after initially being called Backrub, Business Insider reported. Google, the first name of Google was Backrub.com. What the fuck kind of operation was Google supposed to be? Like, what was the biggest website in the world originally going to be? Yeah. Rub and Tug. Google might have been the original Rub and Tug. There used to be there was back pages in New York. They would give you like all of the different massage parlors where you could get rub and tugs, and they would be like, "Wink, wink. If you go to this one, they'll give you a happy ending." Google could have been the original rub and tug, and they were like, "How far can this really go? Maybe we should take over the world instead." And that's what they ended up doing.
I switched it up at the last minute.
Yeah. So that's
Wow.
I just thought that
I
was,
didn't know that. That's interesting.
that was just an interesting tidbit. But just to end off, it says, although the number 20 decillion is a specific amount. I cannot even say this number. It is rather filled with symbolism, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told NBC News. So he's like, I can't even say it, the number. I don't even know what it is.
He's like, I'm not even going to try.
It's
not
more
my
symbolic.
First language.
Yeah, he's like, more of a symbol of anything. I can't even say this number. The company should not restrict our broadcasters on their platform. So Russia should not, or YouTube rather, should not restrict Russian news from being on Google and YouTube. This should be a reason for the Google leadership to pay attention for this and to improve the situation for Russian news. I say we do a trial run. We let Russia just run wild with deepfakes and disinformation, because it is terrible for the polarization. We're probably going to end up nuking each other and killing ourselves. But before that, it will be fun. Like, if you actually look into what Russia's doing, and I looked up a few examples of disinformation that Russia's put out recently, it's not just like Kamala Harris sucks or like, you know, like weird like Pizzagate shit. Like, they're clearly having fun with it. And I can give you a couple examples. There's one that's a deep fake of Tom Cruise narrating a Netflix documentary on the Paris Olympics, which he doesn't even say anything negative. Like, they're just like, we're going to make people think that Tom Cruise was part of this documentary about the Paris, just for funsies. Another one, they have Kamala Harris poaching rhinos in Zambia.
My God.
Deepfakes of Kamala Harris.
What the fuck?
Literally just like in Zambia, like fucking just
she's like dressed as like Tarzan.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, like she's in Washington, D.C., but somehow she like got chartered to Zambia just like real quick in between lunch and a correspondence center just to like poach a few rhinos and then come back to the U.S.
Biggie.
So I do like the creativity behind the deepfakes. Like, they're not just like putting out like, they're not just trying to mess with the votes. They're like, we need to do shit, but like, let's do shit so ridiculous that people will be like, yeah, that's crazy, but like also that's kind of fun. Like, if you're like poaching rhinos, like, yes, they're an endangered species, but like when you're on a rhino hunt, it's probably the biggest high you've ever had in your life. And apparently there's a deepfake video of Kamala Harris just like fucking.
Are
like,
they hiring? I feel like there's a lot of graphic designers that probably looking for work, and they could go work for Putin.
I mean, this is you're exactly right. This is a shout out to anyone who listens to Breaking Takes. It's a graphic designer. If you end up working for Russia, mention us, mention Breaking Takes as an affiliate that we recommended.
Maybe
you
we'll
for
get
the job,
a cut of that decillion.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll have RussianPropaganda.com promo code Breaking Takes, and we get like a 20, and we get a 20% cut.
That's
for
amazing.
People that end up doing deepfakes for Russia. But yeah, apparently they're hiring. It's pretty good. Like, people are passing this around, like saying, you know, this is obviously fake, but it's getting really fucking good. So
wow.
Yeah,
I love the creativity
Kamala,
coming from Russia. I love to see it. That's beautiful.
Yeah, love the creativity. Love the, that Russia's trying to get back on YouTube. I hope Russia gets back on YouTube, because I would love to see like a Putin Mr. Beast collab where
he's going on Joe Rogan's podcast. Come on.
oh, he'll go on Rogan first, and then when Putin gets back on YouTube, he'll do a collab with Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Where to announce that Russia's back on news platforms in America, he'll do 100 Ukrainians versus 100 Russians, Mr. Beast style videos. So Squid Games, they rent out an arena, they put everyone in costumes and face paint, and the last one standing wins the war and gets a Lambo.
Hell yeah.
You get a Lamborghini full of cash and you win the Ukraine-Russia war.
Wow.
And then at the end, it'll be like, subscribe to Mr. Beast. And Putin's just like standing there, like 2 thumbs up with Mr. Beast.
A lifetime supply of Mr. Beast chocolate bars.
Yeah, Beast burgers. That's where we're going. The Russia-Ukraine war will be, it'll come down to Mr. Beast burgers. That's where our capitalistic
I believe
society is
it.
going.
Honestly, nothing would shock me in today's world.
So yeah, that's what's going on with Russia right now. We'll keep it creative. They're probably not going to stop the propaganda anytime soon, but at least, make us laugh, make us think, make it keep doing.
I stay laughing. Putin
Yeah.
is a comedian.
Yeah.
I am thoroughly pleased with this.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see like Hunter Biden fucking just like a deep fake of Hunter Biden. It would be hilarious. There's like a video circling the internet. It's like a deep fake of Hunter Biden just like living with uncontacted Senegalese tribe, and then it comes out like, no, that's actually real. Like he smoked so much crack, he ended up joining a remote tribe in Africa, and he's
they
now
kept
living
him
there.
alive because he was so much fun and brought crack to the island.
Yeah, Joe Biden sees it. He's like, this must be a deep fake, and then he gets a text from his son like, please send the presidential chopper to Senegal to
so
pick
this
me
it's
up.
like a location,
Yeah.
a geographical location point.
Yeah, he's like,
on the map.
I was smoking crack in New Jersey, and I woke up in Senegal. Please send the Secret Service.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, speaking of a random island, just nature being like out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
A man survived being lost in a Washington National Park for 30 days.
Wow. Holy
Yes.
shit.
It's quite a while, honestly. Do you think you could live for 30 days like in the wilderness?
I did. I mean, I did a hike in Ireland once, and there were bed and breakfasts every 17 miles or so.
Yeah.
But unless I'm working in a situation like that, I'm probably starving pretty quickly.
Yes. So this man's name is Robert Schock, and this is an article from The Guardian, but I think his first interview post being rescued was with people.com. So I'm just going to read some of this so we can get a good picture. So a man ingested mushrooms, berries, and water to survive getting lost for more than a month in a Washington State National Park. This was a nearly fatal experience. In this compelling conversation with People, he recounted that he felt truly close to death and had just lost control of his bowels when...
Okay.
Yes, so apparently that's the last thing that happens before you die, right?
Yeah.
So he
Yeah, that's
thought, like, he just lost control of his bowels. He's like, I'm not making it through the night. It's the 29th night, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
And so
What a terrible way to die. Just like rolling around and
Right?
shit, waiting for the light to come.
Yeah, no, it
That's
sounds
bad.
terrible. But so at that point, he was like, I'm desperate. And he said that he just let out a final scream for help. And it managed to work. And people heard him.
No fucking way.
Yeah, people heard him and showed up and rescued him. He said that this ordeal aged him several years, and he has sworn off ever returning to the North Cascades National Park anytime soon. Regardless, he is recovering pretty well, and has regained 40 pounds since this whole thing. So this guy, Robert Schock, he's from Washington. He's a musician. I doubt a very good one. I don't know for fact. I'm just saying, like, isn't everybody who lives in Washington a musician?
Yeah, I feel like everyone at some point worked in a guitar shop or brought a guitar
Right?
to a party, was the one that pulled it out and played. If you live in the Northwest, I feel like it's a very Northwest thing to do.
That's what I was thinking too. So he said that he had previously been to this park. He was heading to the Hannigan Pass trailhead on July 31st and was planning to run 20 miles alongside his dog. So he had his dog with him, which is a beautiful chocolate lab. But he says he hadn't been there in several years, and wildfires in 2021 and 2022 had wiped out the trail that he previously known. So he also said that he had a map, but the map was outdated because, half the forest like burnt down.
Yeah, he turns it over. It's like 1987. What the fuck? I can't believe my granddad gave me an old map. This is crazy.
So he said he quickly lost his bearings. His phone died on the second day of being lost in the park. And by the third day, he, I guess, unleashed his dog and told his dog to go on, get out of here, save yourself.
So he had like I was gonna say an Old Yeller moment, but Old Yeller ends up getting shot.
Yeah.
But there's like I feel like there's some movie where it's just like a guy struggling to survive in the wilderness, and it does exactly that. He's like, "Go on, boy, you're better than this. Go live life.
Get out of here. I don't want
boy.
you anymore." What is that? That's a traumatic movie that I do remember watching when I was a kid. The good news is, I'll just say right now for the people concerned, the dog did make it back to this guy's car, and the dog is fine as well. So, yes.
So was the dog lived for 30 days in this guy's car?
No, I think it doesn't really get into that, but I think the dog ran back to the guy's car, which was parked like where, there is life still.
Gotcha.
And so other people found the dog, found the car, and kind of searched the area.
So this guy thinks he's completely lost, he's fucked, and he's telling his dog, "Go on, get boy," and the dog's like, "No, we're not that far.
Like,
I can
it's
get
right
us
over
back."
there.
The dog's like,
follow
"No,
me."
follow me. Yeah, I'll have us back in the car in 14 minutes. This is easily fixable." And he's like, "No, go on, boy, get you." And the dog's like, "All right, I'm just gonna." The car, I could see the car.
It's
like I
right
literally
over
see
the hill.
Yeah.
Literally just back the way we came.
That must have been the most
around.
confused dog ever. The guy's like, I'm gonna lay down and die. I found the spot. I'm gonna die. And the dog's like, all right, man, it's up to you.
Yeah.
You do you.
Yeah. So it says that authorities spotted Shock's car and found Freddie, that's the dog's name, near like the river and the park. But they were unsure where he was. They found his wallet and stuff in the car. So he clearly was not prepared. Like, he wasn't going in to like camp. So they were concerned. He had no overnight equipment. The passenger seat window was still open. So this became like okay, this guy is missing pretty quickly. Yeah. His mom said that she never gave up, that he was alive after the initial search was unsuccessful. Meanwhile, this whole time, Shock is in the woods. Like, he said he found like old bear nesting grounds and like was eating berries. He said specifically, "I had one large mushroom." He just found one large mushroom. And he said it tasted like what it would be on a pizza, which I think is probably delirium. Like, I don't think it probably tasted as good as a pizza with mushrooms on it.
The mushroom was his Wilson from Castaway.
Yeah.
With Tom Hanks.
I'm actually wondering if
he's naming the mushroom.
The mushroom was actually just, a psychedelic mushroom, and the whole time he just thought he was like in his living room.
Yeah. 30 days was actually 42 minutes. He just experienced 3 lifetimes in one trip, and he wakes up, he's like, "Oh my God, I'm shitting myself." He's playing guitar around a campfire to nobody, but it's just like people watching him in a psych ward taking notes.
Yeah.
It's like, "I'll get home one day."
Yep. And he's naked too, mind you. They find him naked. Which
why would he get rid of his clothes?
That's what I was just about to say. Like, I don't understand how he ends up naked.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the one thing that you'd be like, "Look, I am out of food. My dog's gone. My tent's blown over. At least I have the pants and shirt and boots that I came in at. At least I'm not gonna die warmth. Totally without." Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, like I said, eventually he got found. He's fine. They found him naked. They put some clothes on him, brought him to the hospital, and he was, able to recover. But I just was kind of struck with the initial details of the fact that he went to this park with an outdated map and then goes on the trail and sees that it's like burned down.
Yeah.
And he keeps going. Like he doesn't turn around and go, wait, I should like get an updated map. Because most national parks, they have the boxes with maps right there in the beginning of the trail, or they have like a picture of a map. So you could have just turned around and took a picture. And instead he proceeds.
Or be a human being. Be a human being in the 21st century. Download the map before you lose service.
How do you get fucking
on all
lost?
trails?
I don't understand how you get lost in today's world with a smartphone.
Yeah.
Like, how stupid do you have to be? I literally don't understand. Like, it's bad I'm reading this. I have, like, zero sympathy. Because I'm just like, how fucking dumb do you have to be to keep walking on a trail that you don't know, and it's totally wiped out due to wildfires? So it's probably not even a trail anymore.
He had to have had that moment where you get a certain distance and you're looking around and you're going, this is not the trail that I hiked 3 years ago.
Yes.
This is crazy. Where am I? Should I
Usually
just go
the
back
moment you turn around.
Yeah, should I go back and easily follow my footsteps and trail back to the car? And he just looks out into the wilderness and goes, onwards. Just with his guitar, just walking along.
Eating a mushroom.
Hope someone finds me. Yeah, I'm gonna shit my pants. So
I like that song. Yeah, I kind of felt like this was like, I feel like natural selection got robbed, honestly.
Yes.
The fact that he
exactly
survived, I just feel like, I don't wish death upon people, but, when you actively go into uncharted territory without a map and without survival gear, and then you end up lost, I think that's natural selection that tried to eliminate him from the world.
I agree. It's like 50 Cent says, many men wish death upon me, except God was 50 Cent hoping that this guy would die.
Yeah.
And then when he screamed help and the campers went to go save him, God was like, no,
he's got to go. He can't procreate. We can't
have
let
this guy
happen.
reproduce. Yeah, exactly. So he just like the fact that they found him naked with a giant mushroom in a tent that couldn't have been that far off of a main trail if he was like, I'm going to scream help one more time just in case. And people were like, oh, yeah, we'll save you.
Yeah.
The parking lot's over here. It's 200 meters away. I want to know how far.
Yeah, like you're not that far.
I want to see the dot where this guy's tent was and then the dot where the main trail was. And I want to know, like, how
I
many
would
people,
love to see that too.
How many people passed this guy, just like a naked guy carrying a giant mushroom through the forest, and thought, yeah, we're going to leave that guy alone.
Okay, we're going to turn around, actually.
Yeah, we're going to get the fuck out of here.
And he doesn't see any of them.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, his dog is like barking in the distance.
Yeah. Car's over here. Woof, woof.
Actually, does he even deserve to get his dog back? I mean, you can't bring your dog into... He almost killed his dog by being a fucking idiot.
Yeah. No.
Thank God the dog was smart and knew what it was doing.
Yeah. And I feel like the dog... If you're truly lost, I don't think a dog would be able to navigate mountain ranges to get all the way back to a single car, especially if it's a dog that's not trained to do that. And judging by this guy being found naked in the wilderness, I doubt he was training his dog to locate based on sense and smell. Like, dogs have a certain level of that naturally, but like it's pretty hard to be like if this guy was like 150 miles out of the way and this dog tracked down the car without training, that would be fucking amazing. I bet you they were within like a
5 miles.
miles. Yeah, yeah, like a afternoon hikes away.
That's what I'm saying. Like just a basic walk in the park.
Yeah.
And here's a quote that really took me out here. This is from him himself. When I got out there, the trail was no longer there. I was curious to know what happened to this trail, and my curiosity kept me going. So, like, he actively was like, I'm lost. Let's keep going. Let's keep going the direction I know my car and civilization is not.
Have you? Yeah, he's like.
I'm curious what it would be like to get lost in the woods for 30 days and almost starve and shit my pants that I'm not wearing anymore.
Yeah, and then I'm curious what it would be like to die naked, covered in shit,
alone.
I want to know what his reason was for getting rid of clothes, because unless
we'll never
a bear
know.
attacked him and ripped off his clothes, or like.
He
even
just
if they
wanted
get wet,
to be found naked.
Even if they get wet, hang them
swear.
up and dry them. Like,
right?
Like what? Yeah,
what
that was like
happened
his
to them?
kink. His kink is I want to starve to death and have someone find me naked, and that's the only way I can come. I have to go out in the woods for 30 days to come as a starving
he just
naked
saw,
man.
Like, he was clothed, and then he saw that like the EMTs that were showing up were women, and then he just quickly got naked and like rubbed like dirt on himself.
Yeah.
And sat
He's
there
like,
and
nope.
was like, I'm starving.
Yeah, help me.
Help
I'm
me,
starving.
I'm poor.
The only place I could feel is my penis because it's so engorged with blood. Please.
Please
Suck
help
on it.
me.
Please help me.
So yeah.
That's a wild story. Have you ever seen what it looks like when woods burn down, when a section of a forest burns down? Because
Yeah,
I
it's
have.
it's like gray and charred and literally just like nothing, no signs of life.
It's pretty fucking obvious what happened when you're looking at a part of the woods that burned down. So the fact that this guy looked at just a section of the trail that burned down and was like, huh, I wonder what happened here. And then just kept going. Like, my curiosity compelled me to keep going to figure out what
did he think was on the other side? Like, where was he trying to go? He definitely was high as fuck on that journey. And
he was eating different types of mushrooms before he found the big mushroom. And he was like, what about, he's like, I gotta help the Keebler elves who are living in these trees. They don't have anywhere to go because everything's burned down. I gotta find them and tell them, we gotta find somewhere else to go.
That's the thing. And also, like, it's pretty ballsy though to eat a mushroom in the wilderness because so many of them are toxic. So I am surprised. That's why I think that's where his clothes went, because that mushroom probably was toxic. And not toxic enough to kill him, but toxic enough to make him shit his non-pants and just sit on a cliff and yell for help and think his dog was going to go save him or something.
Yeah, that he looks at his clothes and he goes, I could see more shit than clothes right now, so I'm just going to get rid of these. The fabric has been overcome by my shit, so I'm going to toss these. And again, even if I had eaten a poisonous mushroom and I shit my pants so much that I can see more shit than fabric, I'd still go, this is all I have. Let me, at least wash these off a little bit, or try to find some sort of river and fucking. They'll still smell like shit, but like I'd rather that than be completely naked.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to be completely naked, but
maybe
I don't know. This
kink.
guy doesn't seem to have a lot. Like, don't let him drive the car. Like, he's going to get lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy doesn't seem to have any sense of direction or common sense whatsoever.
Yeah. When he drives to Walmart 4 minutes away, does he just like
he ends up across state lines?
Yeah. He sees like a section of the woods by the Walmart that he's like, that looks a little weird. I wonder, and he just drives straight into the woods and ends up in like the middle of Nebraska.
Yeah, yeah. He's gonna drive just like in off the sand into the ocean one of these days, just out of curiosity. Like
Yeah.
what happens when I drive my car into a lake?
Yeah. Maybe
Just
the
wondering.
dog. Just wondering what it feels like to drown alive in your own car. I think maybe the dog was trying to lose this guy. The
I think
dog
so
was
too.
the dog maybe
The
was
dog's like,
like,
don't.
I don't.
It's
Yeah.
pleading, please bring me to a shelter, please.
Please, yeah. And then finally, when they got out far enough, the dog was like, "Yeah, we're fucked." And the guy's like, "Yeah, you're right. Just go, get on, boy." And the dog's like, "All right, I'm definitely gonna die. I'm definitely gonna die." And in the dog's mind, he's like, I'm just gonna go back to the car
Peace the fuck out,
within the
loser.
next 10 minutes. Yeah. They like in all the reuniting dog videos, it's always like a dog with some Marine that comes home, and the dog's going crazy, like, just jumping on. The dog gets reunited with this guy who's been lost and starving for 30 days, and the dog's just like, fuck. I thought this
The dog's
guy
like,
was
"It's the last
dead
thing
for
I
sure.
wanted."
Yeah. You just see the dog go, just audibly sigh.
Right?
He's like,
Tail
"All right,
wagging to like sadness.
God damn it. I thought I was free."
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just thought that was a crazy story because, the guy's an idiot and I
Yeah.
felt no sympathy. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that says something about me or not, but I do know that
I
I've
don't
never
feel it.
gotten lost for 30 days in the woods because my curiosity just overcame me.
Yeah, watch next week. We'll be recording a remote episode, and it's you in the woods, and
It
you're like,
is
"Well,
truly
I,
remote.
I actually,
I'm naked with
I know on last week's episode
Sitting
I
next
said
to my
I'd
shit.
never get lost, but I'm currently in, some Maryland national park.
Yeah.
I'm naked. It's been 4 hours. I'm playing my guitar. Here's my mellow.
Here's my mushroom.
Yeah, I take back my words. I could
Yeah.
totally see how it happened.
Curiosity got the best of me.
Yeah. I saw a weird tree and I was like, damn, I need to go follow
I must
the
know
trail.
more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for sharing the story of that guy. He's
I think there's a chance he might do it again.
oh, for sure. As soon as he recovers, he's
Not
gonna
at that
be-
part, because that one, he needs to try it again in a different one. He says
Yeah.
he's not going back to that one.
These are the people that serial killers should take out in national parks.
Exactly.
When you hear those stories of guys, roaming Yellowstone and they killed 17 people and they're found 30 years later buried under a rock, like, take out people like this who should be dead. Like, it's a miracle this guy.
Evolution, we tried.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, his family's going to be cursed, I think, now, because they owe the spirits above a life, because he was meant to die.
They need to send someone to the afterlife. In
Exactly.
This family, just as a sacrifice.
Exactly. They
Yeah.
have to, because now they're going to be haunted forever. Their whole family, any newborn children, they're all going to be cursed.
100%. So I do have a grinder this
Okay.
week.
Tell me
And-
what you're grinding about.
I'm grinding about online French YouTubers. And
Very specific.
yeah, très
But
spécifique.
Yes.
Très
Okay.
spécifique. And so here's the thing. I'm trying to learn French, and I'm doing it through this app that it's called Pimsleur. It's pretty good. It's 30-minute lessons, and it's a lot of verbal repetition, which is obviously important when you're trying to learn a new language. But every once in a while, I get frustrated with the app, and I go, there has to be a better way to do this. There has to be a way to do this more quickly. And
Just go to France.
True. I
And
just
start
live in
talking to
France.
the
Yeah,
locals.
live
Yeah.
in France. Get a job at a bakery. Stop podcasting. Just work at a French bakery full time in Marseille.
Zach in Paris.
That would be the quickest way. Yeah, and I would get my own Netflix series. That's perfect.
Exactly. Yep.
Random thing. I was listening to a conversation with JD Vance, and just randomly during the interview, he was like, "Oh, by the way, like Emily in Paris, I love that show." And then he went back to talking about like
Big fan.
like something that had to do with like foreign policy, like something maybe with France or Europe. And he's like, by the way, Emily in Paris, like huge fan of that show. Like I love
Watch it every night.
And then just goes
Who
back.
is he trying to appeal to when
Who would
he
have thought
says
JD
that?
Vance was an Emily in Paris fan, but apparently he is. So I'm trying to learn. I'm doing this app that's 30-minute lessons, and occasionally I get frustrated. So I go on YouTube, and I get sucked in to these. You know, a lot of them are they're not all French YouTubers, but they're YouTubers that have these language learning channels, and all of the titles and thumbnails it'll say something like "Become fluent in French in 4 weeks," and then the subtitle will say, oh, I know what you're thinking, but you could have a job and still do this. This, you know, if you have a job and you want to get fluent in French, all it takes is 4 weeks. And then I go into the video, and it's this person talking about, okay, I have this thing, this technique I use, and you can become fluent in French in 4 weeks. You know, I have a job, and I'm still able to do it. And come on, follow me. Like, let's do a day in the life of me learning French. And then it's like, okay, wake up at 5:30 a.m. and write out 100 index cards of vocabulary.
You can have a job, but every other minute of after 9 to 5 has to be spent learning French.
And it's like 5:30 to 6:30, write out 100 index cards of your French vocabulary. 6:30 to 7, study these index cards while you're eating breakfast. 7 to 7:45, be on Subway, listen to French podcast as you're going into work. 8 to 8:15, take your morning shit. Make sure you're going through your flashcards when you're on the office time taking your morning dump. Then it's like, all right, then I work from like, you know, 9 a.m. to noon. And then it's like, all right, on your lunch break, eat the Ziploc containered, you know, chicken salad, hard-boiled eggs in your car by yourself while you're listening to your next French lesson. Then on your walk back to the office, listen to a French podcast. It's literally like, unless you're working, you're doing French. And then I swear to God, one of these channels, there was a guy that said he would fall asleep to French, and he thinks that if there was a French thing playing while you were asleep,
you're absorbing
it makes you learn faster. So you literally can't even sleep without French if you want to become fluent in 4 weeks.
Eat and sleep French. Like, there's no way you can be fluent in 4 weeks of any language, is my belief.
And I would kill the only way I would become, if I became fluent in French in 4 weeks and I couldn't do anything except learn French outside of the hours of work, the first thing I would say in French is, I'm going to kill myself and then blow my head off. Like the minute I become fluent, I'd be like, I'm done now. I'm suicidal.
Yeah.
This is over. I can't do this anymore.
But you can kill yourself in French now.
I'd kill myself in French. Yeah. Yeah, I could commit suicide in French. That is true. And it did work.
What is
the video
it? It's
didn't
like
lie.
au revoir? Isn't that like bye?
Yeah, goodbye, au revoir, or, you know, see you soon, a bientôt, you know.
Okay.
I could be like, I'm finished, like je finis, or like c'est fini, it's finished, something like that. I could do my last, you know, my call into the universe as a fluent French speaker and just go into the night, swallow a bottle of pills, gunshot, you know.
Yeah, no, there's just no way you can learn a language in 4 weeks. Like, there's just no way. Like, I don't even care if you're spending every minute of the day. I still don't think you can learn a language in 4 weeks fluently.
It's crazy. And that's with a job. There are other people that make these YouTube videos where they're students, so they'll have maybe a class or two a day, and so their thumbnail is like, learn French in 4 weeks, but they're doing like 7 hours of French a day, or like insert X language, Japanese, French, Spanish, whatever, and
it's
they
like
get
a
me every time.
job.
It's a full-time job. And the thumbnails get me every time, because when you're frustrated and you see a thumbnail that's a solution, you're like, it's probably bullshit, but what if it isn't? You know, what if this is the key to me doing 30 minutes of French a day and still becoming fluent. And then you click it on and it starts good. But it's like as soon as someone mentions index cards, I'm like, this is going somewhere dark. And then they're like, and then that's when you're going to place the index cards underneath your eyelids so that every time you blink, you can see a new French word. And I'm like, all right, that's the trick.
You're gone too far. That's crazy. But I support you in learning French. Obviously, your wife is French, so I think that's good. So you can get to know her family and friends over in France some more. I used Babbel to get proficient in German, which I got proficient for like the months that I was actively learning, and then I stopped, and now I forgot most of what I knew. But Babbel's a really good app, so shout out for that. And shout out whatever. I guess, is this a specifically French learning app or something that you're using?
You could do anything. So I'm using it for French, but you could it pretty much has every language. So,
it's better. Anything is better than Duolingo, because that fucking owl, like, it's like a Neopet, like the way you got to check in on it every day. It's like, don't forget about me. Like, I'm trying to learn a language. I'm not trying to take care of a Neopet right now.
Yeah. It's like the notifications in whatever language you're studying. It's like, don't forget, I'm going to kill you. And it's like, wait, what? if you miss one more lesson, you're dead. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Kill your family. Check in.
Yeah. I actually don't really have any grinders because my life I'm just grinding in life, Zach. I'm just grinding in the club. Yes. I'm just about to grind on a stripper. And I'm just living my life. I actually don't have anything that's making me just feel like I'm upset, you know?
Yeah. That's the best. That's the healthiest
It's
answer.
Positive vibes this November. I'm feeling good. I feel like good things are coming. A small grinder is just the fact that this week before the election has felt like 3 fucking months long. And I think all of us Americans probably feel that way. And by the time this podcast comes out, we'll probably we should know the results. And hopefully we can all move on for at least the next 4 years and just stop with the madness. But we know that probably won't happen.
We'll see. Well, maybe Putin will make a surprise appearance in the election.
Yeah.
And we'll get some weird deep fake video of I don't know, the Putin's just like riding a unicorn down Pennsylvania Avenue in DC, promoting that he is now the president of the United States, and people are like,
some people will believe it.
It looks real, so I think like it's Putin now. And
my uncles, they'll definitely believe that shit.
Yeah. Deep fakes could go.
I'm gonna see that all over Facebook.
Yeah, Putin riding unicorn to the White House, declares himself president. I guess, whatever. Put him on the dollar.
Might as well. Yes, it's time that we refresh those pictures. We need to start putting new people on these bills.
Yeah, we should have a contest and just change one of the dollar bills to a random person.
We should.
Like, imagine if the $20 bill was just Susan from Target.
I would love that.
That would be amazing. But yeah, it's good that you don't have a grinder. That means life is going well. I hope things continue to go well in all aspects, stripping department, life department. Just a fulfilling and flourishing life for all things Sam.
Thank you so much. I'm going to try not to let my curiosity get the best of me this weekend. I don't want to end up
unless it involves stripping.
Yeah.
Unless it involves a stripper, then you can, follow that curiosity.
I will follow that all the way down
hole it leads.
83 south,
all the holes,
straight into the city. Right to the block.
Right to the block.
But it's been a fun episode.
Hell yeah. If you guys, if you're like, hey, we're more curious than once a week with Breaking Takes and we're looking for more episodes, you can head to breakingtakes.supercast.com for bonus episodes. We put out new content there every month. And then you can also rate us on Spotify and subscribe to YouTube because that helps a ton. We get more visibility in the algorithm. Keep watching the shorts, TikTok, Instagram, commenting. We see you guys commenting on TikTok. Head over to Instagram and YouTube too, and leave comments on there on the full YouTube videos, because that is just as like a YouTube content creator, getting the full videos of a podcast to do well is extremely hard, because usually it's the shorter stuff that goes viral. So if you guys watch on YouTube, that would be a huge help. Comment on the YouTube videos. And breakingtakes.supercast.com. Rate us, subscribe, and hell yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. See you, brother.
Woo!
Woo!